to this talk on the work of the Child Abuse Department at Witalski's Solicitors. I'm Amy Clowrey and I'm here with David Greenwood, who is Director and Head of the Child Abuse Department, and today we're going to be talking about different aspects of the work that we do. So David, could you tell me a little bit about the work that the Child Abuse Department does at Witalski's?
Yeah, well, our main aim is to get compensation and apologies, of course, from different bodies for people who have suffered child sexual exploitation, child sexual abuse. And yeah, the main core of our work, Amy, is work on behalf of children who have suffered child abuse when they have been in the care of institutions such as schools or councils or churches. Those types of cases are fairly common and they're fairly easy for us to pursue. So that's the main area of work that we pursue. There is also a segment of cases that are pursued against councils where social workers have been involved or should have been involved with families but haven't done a very good job. Haven't done a good job of keeping the child of that family safe, and they've exposed it to greater risks than it should have done. So we can pursue cases against councils there also. Children in foster care can also pursue cases against councils because councils are responsible for the foster carers in the same way that they are for their own employees. So if foster carers treat a child badly, that child can pursue the council for compensation. So that's another element of case that we pursue. And an emerging sector of cases is what we call child sexual exploitation cases, sometimes known as street exploitation cases. This is where children are picked up by young men or sometimes middle-aged men and groomed and persuaded to perform sexual activity with them. Perhaps they are given alcohol or drugs or access to fast cars and different places that they otherwise wouldn't have access to. And that type of case is a case against councils and the police. We've realised that this is something that councils and the police have not been looking at for a lot of years, despite it having gone on, to our knowledge, since at least the early 90s and definitely before, I'm sure. So police and council should have been taking the perpetrators off the streets, arresting them and disrupting their activities, but weren't doing that. And so we're pursuing lots of cases against councils and the police for that type of thing, where children have been falling into exploitation. So our notable cases on that front are the Rotherham cases, of course, which hit the headlines back in 2014-15, the Oxford cases, which have also been high profile, but also a number of Birmingham cases and most recently West Yorkshire cases in towns such as Huddersfield, Dewsbury and Batley, and of course Bradford. So we are certainly active in pursuing those types of cases and trying to work with councils to get to the bottom of where they failed and what action should have been taken. So that's the type of work that we do. We're not blind to the fact that apologies can be important, and meetings with heads of social services, etc., can be important for some people, and we'll facilitate that where possible. Our work also extends to campaigning work. We've done a lot of campaigning to enhance the rights of victims of child abuse. We feel that the current court system that we have discriminates against victims of child abuse because it sets time limits on when cases can be brought. So we've been campaigning to get rid of the time limits on child abuse. We're getting somewhere. I'm not sure that we're completely there, but we are getting somewhere with that. We also are unhappy about the fact that there's no obligation on people who work for organisations in positions of responsibility to report suspicions of child abuse to the police, and we want that. That's called mandatory reporting, and we've been campaigning, along with many others, to get that brought into law. And overall, we see the system of litigation in this country as being kind of a cold environment for claimants to step into. It's a harsh environment, and only with really skilled lawyers can we get through it. And many people don't bother because it's so hard. So we want a less tough system, a redress system, a big redress scheme like an enhanced criminal injuries compensation scheme to address the specific needs of child sexual abuse survivors. I'm hopeful that we'll get there when the National Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse reports in 2022. But at the moment, we're campaigning as hard as we can to get that kind of thing.
Thanks, David. And for the benefit of people that might not have watched our previous talks, could you just explain a little bit about what the CICA is?
Okay, the Criminal Injuries Compensation Authority is a body that's been set up and funded by the government, and it has specific rules to compensate innocent victims of violent crime. Within that category come victims of sexual crime, and we pursue cases for people who can show that they've reported their case to the police or to a local authority, and that the abuse actually happened. So that's a relatively simple way of getting some kind of justice.
Thanks, David. Thank you for watching this talk today. If you would like further information, then please visit www.switalskis.com and visit the Child Abuse Compensation page. Thank you.